people that are coming in do not respect our laws. They don't like our laws. They don't want our laws. They want Sharia law, or they want something else. Well, to do that, to allow that to happen, is to allow people who are hostile to our Constitution in the United States. Why would you do that? When you make them stand up and swear an oath, when they get their citizenship, they swear to defend the Constitution, not Sharia law, against all enemies, both foreign and domestic, right? But Obama hasn't cared about that. But there is one immigration issue that has him very angry. One. And it proves what a hypocrite Obama is. He hasn't cared about the immigration into Europe, illegal immigration. He hasn't cared about illegal immigration into the United States. Where does he care about immigration? Well, I have an article here, and it is from the Front Page Mag, and it's titled, "The Little Jewish Village That Makes Obama Boil, Between Heaven, Earth, and the White House." It's written by Daniel Greenfield. Daniel Greenfield says, halfway to the sky sits a tiny village of little white houses that has attracted the ire of the White House. The village of Amona, with its small white houses and red roofs, could easily be mistaken for some lost Italian village or a dusty California town. But the White House would not have boiled in anger, as one anonymous official claimed, over the doings of some Italian village. There's only one place on earth that makes Obama's blood boil. It isn't Iran or North Korea. It's Israel. Israel. He cares about Jewish peoples making settlements in the West Bank. This angers him. Oh, we don't care. He doesn't care about illegals coming across the southern border of the United States, even though many of them are criminals. Many of them are drug addicts or drug dealers or maybe even terrorists. This does not concern him. No. He's got a lax policy. He wants to just catch them and let those people go. But this little town in Israel has got him fuming mad. What hypocrisy. Folks, the entire nation of Israel is a nation of refugees. A nation of refugees. If you go back in history, and I'm not going to go back very far because we don't have time on this radio program, but if you go back in history to right about the time of the Bolshevik Revolution in the former Soviet Union, you're going to find they had these things called pogroms, and these pogroms were basically persecutions of Jews. They drove them off their farmlands and ranches. They starved them, and they drove them off their property and took their property away from them. And many of them fled to Israel as the only safe place for them to go. Some of them fled to Europe, and then a few years later, the Nazis came up with death camps and tried to kill them, and some of them fled on to Israel then. Some of them that stayed, they didn't get to flee, they died. Many of them after World War II, after this persecution, they did flee to Israel. Many of them are fleeing the Middle East today because of ISIS and other radical Muslim groups that are destroying their villages and killing their families and driving them out of the Middle East, and they only see two safe places to go: the United States and Israel. Israel is a nation of refugees. Mr. Obama, what about those refugees? What about them? Do you not care about those refugees? Is it only the Muslim refugees from Syria? You don't care about the Jews that are fleeing those areas and going to Israel, and Israel is expanding and they need to have some more settlements inside the West Bank? Oh no, that's Palestinian territory. Well, I'm sorry, but did you know there's never been a nation of Palestine? Palestine has never existed. It does not exist to this day, nor has it ever existed. It existed as a region of the Ottoman Empire, and that's all it has ever been. When people tell me, oh, I'm a Palestinian, I say, no, you're not. You're an Arab. There's no such thing as a Palestinian. Palestine does not, has not, and I hope not, will not ever exist. That's the source of the problems in the Middle East, is people are not letting the Jews alone. That's the key to peace in the Middle East. If Islam would leave the Jews alone, everything would be fine. Also, there's another thing going on in the Middle East I want to talk about for just a moment. In Syria, it's a civil war going on, and we've got our nose in the big middle of that where it does not belong. Well, some years ago, the liberal progressive Democrats put out an ad on television that featured two generals from two different countries going at it fisticuffs inside of a boxing ring. And they said basically in that commercial that, if the people who sent the soldiers out to fight had to do the fighting themselves, maybe we'd have less wars. Well, let's borrow that idea from them for a moment and take it up a notch. Let's have Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin get into a ring and have a death match. And if we're going to go to war with Russia, which a lot of people are really afraid of right now, if we're going to go to war with Russia, let's let Vladimir Putin and Barack Obama fight it out in a death match in a ring. Winner take all. Whoever's left standing and left alive, that's the one who wins the war. Now, I'm not a betting man because I'm a Christian, but if I were a betting man, I would not bet on Barack Obama. I mean, Vladimir Putin rides horses, he does judo, he hunts, he fishes, he's a man's man. But Barack Obama, I'm afraid to say, is a salad-eating sister boy. I have seen him riding a girl's bike while wearing a helmet. I don't think he would stand a chance against Vladimir Putin. But I would say that if we're going to go to World War III, instead of having millions of lives or thousands of lives lost over a battle that we shouldn't be involved in because we got no business being in it, let's just let the two top dogs duke it out, and whoever's left alive wins. What do you think, America? This is Pastor Dave Grisham. Until next week, and I'm on Last Frontier Evangelism Radio and Last Frontier Evangelism at gmail.com. You can contact me there. If you have comments or questions, I might read them on the air. Until next week, folks, signing off is Pastor Dave Grisham.